Hi everyone. This is the voice behind the noise. And I am Myron. We have to admit that the Ukraine crisis has been really serious recently, so it is capturing the world's attention, that's true. However, such humanitarian crisis is in the same time happening in another country on Earth, while apparently it failed to capture the attention at all. Where is it? It is in Afghanistan. It seems that the country has only been a hotspot for a while when the US military withdrew from the country, and the Taliban took the place of the former government. Since Ukraine has apparently much more to do with the interests of the US, the country is directing the world to Ukraine, while Afghanistan, where people are starving to death every day, has been left out. The humanitarian crisis is serious in Afghanistan, but the world has paid much less attention to the country and what is happening in the country. This must have reflected some problems of us. Today, all of us seem to be much more interested in Ukraine crisis due to the propaganda of the West. I am not saying that the Ukraine crisis is not worth concern. Instead, what really matters is that people are not enough concerned about Afghanistan. However, something that happened recently has made the situation even worse. The Taliban did not fulfill their promise to guarantee girls' rights to school, and girls are still prohibited from schooling. The time when girls can receive education seems to be a total question now. Maybe you don't know that in this country, people are suffering from starvation, and kids are being stolen or sold like a commodity. The economy has become a total mess while the US government stole the money of Afghanistan people. I, just like you, am wondering what can be a proper solution for the country, and where is the way out for the people out there? To find out the answers to the questions, let's continue watching this video. On March 23, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres issued a statement expressing regret that the Taliban authorities in Afghanistan had suspended girls' middle and high school education. Guterres said all students are looking forward to the start of the new school year. The fact that the Afghan Taliban has failed to reopen schools to girls in grade 6 and above despite repeated promises by the Afghan Taliban is a great disappointment and a disservice to Afghanistan. Denying education not only violates women's and girls' equal rights to education, but it also jeopardizes the future of the country, given the enormous contribution of Afghan women and girls. The Taliban are facing international condemnation after they announced on March 23 that girls would not be allowed to attend secondary school, despite their previous assurances. Of course, such decision has received much criticism. The denial of education violates the human rights of women and girls, said Michelle Bachelet, the UN Human Rights High Commissioner. Beyond their equal right to education, it leaves them more exposed to violence, poverty, and exploitation. To put it clearly and fairly, we also believe that the decision was of grave concern at a time when the country desperately needs to overcome multiple intersecting crises. Disempowering half of Afghanistan's population is counterproductive and unjust. This action has its own consequences. Girls and young women feel uncertain about their future. We did everything the Taliban asked in terms of Islamic dress, and they promised that girls could go to school, and now they have broken their promise, said Myron.We, a journalist, who spoke to the Associated Press in the Afghan capital. Nahidi has protested for women's rights and said, "They have not been honest with us." Now that the situation is so serious, then how should we deal with the crisis in Afghanistan? I am wondering whether sanctions and condemns of the Taliban can do all the job and bring the region back to normal. We have to notice that there is not a single country on earth that has admitted the Taliban government. As a result, its legality is under great doubt. It is probably not that surprised that the Taliban wouldn't allow girls to go to school, as is expected by some experts. So what should be done? Dialogue might be a better solution that can make things better. The third Afghan neighboring foreign ministers meeting was held in Tunxi, on Hue from March 30 to 31. The foreign ministers meeting, hosted by the Chinese side, aims to further consolidate the consensus of neighboring countries on the Afghan issue, discuss the neighboring country plan to jointly promote the stability of the situation in Afghanistan, support and help the Afghan people in the next stage, and convey the neighboring country's voice to the international community. Foreign ministers or representatives of Pakistan, Iran, Russia, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan will attend the meeting. We need to pay attention to the fact that the current situation in Afghanistan is at a critical period from chaos to governance. The Afghan people are still facing multiple internal and external challenges and need more support and help from the outside world. Therefore, it is necessary to combine these characteristics more to solve the Afghan crisis. Rather than sanctioning Afghanistan or even plundering the property of the Afghan people, it is better to learn more about the difficulties and demands of the Afghan people and promote the establishment of an open and inclusive political structure in Afghanistan. In this way, there can be possibility of a moderate and prudent domestic and foreign policy to effectively combat terrorism. Of course, with regard to human rights issues, they need to be resolved at the moment, especially the issues of gender equality such as girls' education. No one has seen Afghanistan fall back into war and chaos, and there is no country that does not expect Afghanistan to restore peace and achieve development. We should seize the critical window period of the situation in Afghanistan from chaos to governance, and exert a positive influence on the development and changes of the situation on the basis of respecting Afghanistan's sovereignty, independence and territorial integrity. Okay, that's all for today. See you in the next video.